After 20 years, my disowned past revealed as my parents sued for my son. Amanda never expected this day would come, not after years of silence, rejection, and missed family gatherings. The jagged edges of her decision to become a nurse instead of following her father's path into law had left her disowned and alone. Resilience had become her armor, an unrelenting shield as she raised her son Evan in a quaint Midwestern town where autumn leaves turned the streets golden. But today, as she sorted through the mail, hope twisted into despair. Among the usual bills and charity appeals lay a letter. Its unfamiliar seal chilled her. Her heart plummeted as she tore it open. The words cut deep. Her parents were suing for custody of Evan, claiming she could not provide the luxury their heritage demanded. Waves of fear crashed against her, drowning out the resolve that typically drove her. Anger bubbled beneath the surface. How dare they? They had cast her aside, yet here they were, audacious enough to stomp back into her life and challenge everything she'd fought to build. With every breath, Amanda felt the weight of their betrayal crystallizing into a monstrous burden. She was torn between fierce determination to protect her son and a longing for family that had turned into nothing but a figment of her imagination. The memories stung, the laughter at family gatherings, the warmth of shared holidays. But they were all tainted now, buried under layers of guilt and rejection. Could she honestly bring herself to confront her parents, to relive the pain of a childhood steeped in expectation? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned to weeks of sleepless nights, frantic research, a desperate search for evidence, anything that would serve as the foundation to protect her child's future. Every piece she gathered felt like a dagger, reopening wounds she thought had healed. The frantic arrangements, endless phone calls, and visits to legal offices took a toll. Her body grew tense, her mind raced, each febrile thought accelerating her heartbeat like a wild drum. She stumbled upon an old family photo hidden in a dusty box, a visual relic of what once was. Their joy was palpable in the photo, but there too, in the margins, was her mother's journal, its leather cover cracked with age, whispering secrets Amanda had never fathomed. With each entry she read, the darkness pulled her deeper. A wrongful conviction lay at the core of her parents' shame, a truth hidden under layers of wealth and pride. Her heart hung heavy, caught between the anguish of betrayal and the intoxicating thrill of discovery. The rich tapestry of her family's facade began unraveling, the fault lines evident in every turn of phrase. What would tomorrow bring? The courtroom loomed before her like a beast she could neither tame nor escape. Should she reconcile, risk everything to bridge the chasm of hurt? Or should she reflect the spirit of a warrior, unyielding, fighting for her son's affinity? A painful truth settled in her chest. Was family worth battling to reclaim? In the stillness of the night before the hearing, uncertainty twisted like a knife, drawing each breath into a struggle against despair. As dawn approached, she knew she would have to face them, not just in the courtroom, but the very core of her being, unmask who her parents truly were, and in turn, discover who she was meant to be. As Amanda prepared to step into that hostile arena, an undeniable dread swallowed her. Whatever the outcome, she was shivering on the edge of irrevocable change, the weight of the past threatening to collapse in on her. With her son in mind, she inhaled deeply, steeling herself for the confrontation that might redefine everything. The story was only just beginning. The courtroom was sterile, yet charged with a raw energy that buzzed around Amanda like static electricity. She could feel the stares of strangers alike, their whispers cascading over her, carrying the weight of her parents' disdain. They radiated a sense of privilege that clashed violently with her tightly woven resolve. As she sat down in the pew, dread wrapped itself around her like a second skin, and yet she could not afford to succumb to it. She had Evan's future to think about. The gavel echoed louder than thunder in her ears, signaling the beginning of a battle she never sought. Across the room, her parents were seated, preening majesty, while their glances flickered toward her. The familiar anger surged within her. The echoes of their past judgments rattled in her mind, mixing with the fierceness of the love she had always shown Evan. How could they presume to take him? The legal jargon surrounding her case felt like a foreign language she hadn't bothered to learn until now. But she would, because every argument they raised against her would be met with her newfound clarity. Each piece of evidence she had gathered wasn't just for show. They reflected her profound capability to provide for her son emotionally and materially. As the judge called the first witness, Amanda's thoughts turned to the moments she shared with Evan, the laughter, the late-night stories that painted their world vibrant. Memories surged like a tidal wave. Without her nurturing spirit, what kind of future could he hope for with her parents? Those thoughts crystallized her purpose. This wasn't just about custody. This was about claiming her identity, her autonomy, and forging a new legacy different from the one dictated by her parents' expectations. Her parents' lawyer launched into an unyielding onslaught, characterizing her profession as a nurse as unfit for the high-standing life upbringing they argued Evan deserved. Accusations danced on the air, striking chords of her insecurities. But as the words penetrated her, another understanding flickered to life within. She wasn't merely a nurse. She was a caretaker, a fighter who had faced adversity head-on. Every patient she had attended to became her unyielding fuel. She began to see her work as a testament, not a hindrance. As her turn approached, Amanda closed her eyes and inhaled deeply, summoning strength from the stories that whispered the legacy she wished to create. The silence, the buzz around her, dimmed and sharpened, honing her focus to that moment. When she finally stood before the judge, she felt the weight of her past and the burden of her lineage, yet she also felt something harder, her conviction. The legal jargon faded, replaced with her powerful point of view. She spoke of her love for Evan, of how laughter filled their modest home, of resilience forged in the crucible of struggle. She painted a vivid image of their world, one shaped by warmth, not affluence. With each word, Amanda felt herself released from the chains her parents had built around her. She began to grasp that she was not just defending her right to raise her son, she was reestablishing her identity. Even if they lost the battle, she could no longer allow their shadows to loom over her future. The judge listened intently, and for the first time, she allowed herself to envision a future untethered from her family's expectations. But just as the tide of determination surged within her, a sudden commotion erupted from her parents' side of the courtroom. Murmurs escalated to whispers of disbelief, and her mother's glare pierced through the uncertainty like an arrow seeking its mark. What had they uncovered? What details had her parents kept hidden that might turn the tables and cast her in a new light? As the noise escalated, Amanda's heart raced. Were they about to unveil secrets that could jeopardize everything? The moment of truth was now upon her, and she felt the ground shift beneath her once again, threatening to pull her back into the depths she had only just begun to escape. The courtroom buzzed like a wasp's nest, the tension thick enough to slice through. Amanda felt the all-consuming pressure of her parents' actions, the sudden commotion siphoning every bit of focus she had mustered. What hidden truths were they unraveling now? Her heart raced wildly as the murmurs danced around her, a chaotic symphony spiraling into dissonance. Sitting back down, she instinctively clasped her hands together as if to contain the rising storm. Memories flickered through her mind like shadows from a fire, reminding her of all the times she had distanced herself from her family's expectations. She had fought hard to define who she was, a nurturing nurse, a dedicated mother, and yet here they were, trying to unearth her childhood like it were a buried treasure of shame. The cacophony stalled as her mother's voice broke through, raised and authoritative, drawing immediate attention. Amanda struggled to retain her composure amidst the anxiety thundering in her chest. What accusation could possibly sway a judge against her now? "Your Honor," her mother began, her words dripping with disdain. "We have reason to believe that Amanda is not the upstanding citizen she pretends to be. You see..." Amanda braced for impact, as if the walls themselves might shatter. The weight of her past loomed over her, its intensity now magnified by the impending revelation. Despite the panic clawing at her throat, Amanda felt something crucial stirring within her, a visceral drive forged in care and resilience. She couldn't let her past define her, not in this trial. Everything she had worked for, the long nights at the hospital, the gentle way she held Evan when he cried, the joy they'd made together in spite of financial constraints. It all mattered infinitely more than whatever dirt they planned to dig up. Her mother's pronouncement fell like an unexpected blow. She was disowned by our family after an incident during her teenage years. Is this the type of person you want to entrust a child? Her words sliced through the air, tinged with both anger and triumph. Eyes darted towards Amanda with renewed scrutiny, raising questions she thought she had buried long ago. In that paralyzing moment, Amanda felt herself unraveling. She had worked ceaselessly to erase her past, to shape a life of integrity and warmth, and yet here lay a jagged edge freshly exposed. Would this deeply buried story turn the tide? They would cast her in a light she had fought so hard to escape, branding her with the title of disowned. But who was she really? The image her parents painted was not the complete picture. The anger and shame they wielded had never taken full account of her journey. The relentless determination to thrive, to show Evan a loving and stable home, despite the shaky ground she had risen from. Those thoughts energized Amanda, sparking a defensive fire. She stood, her voice steady and clear, carving through the tumult. My past doesn't define me, nor does it determine my ability to love and care for my son. I acknowledge my mistakes, but I have worked hard to grow beyond them. She noticed the judge's expression shift slightly as she spoke, a glimmer of understanding breaking through the haze of judgment. This was not just a courtroom. It was her arena, the space where she could reclaim her narrative. Amidst the chaos, Amanda realized she was more than the girl her parents once designated her to be. She had morphed into the woman determined to raise her child with love, empathy, and authenticity. But just as she felt her confidence swell, her mother interjected with a smirk. Is that truly what you believe, Amanda? What if I told you that I have proof you cannot ever escape? A chill settled in Amanda's chest. What did that mean? What evidence could possibly surface that would shake the ground beneath her once again? The stakes were impossibly high, and now the query lingering in the air felt like a precarious balance between victory and collapse. Amanda's resolve tightened. A confrontation loomed on the horizon, and she was ready. But what was this new proof that could shatter the very foundation of her fight? Amanda's pulse drummed in her ears, drowning out the chatter of the courtroom. Her mind whirred, processing the weight of her mother's words. Proof? What could her mother possibly have? An array of worst-case scenarios flooded her thoughts, each more maddening than the last. Secrets, indiscretions, snapshots of a past she had buried under years of hard work and devotion. "Your Honor," her mother continued, "I have evidence of this incident from Amanda's past that vividly illustrates her failures as a daughter and, I fear, as a mother." The accusation hung in the air, sharp and taunting. The judge leaned forward, intrigued. Amanda's instincts flared, grappling with her need to shield Evan from the onslaught that was about to crush her. If this evidence were to surface, it would paint her in colors only her parents knew, the dark hues of disappointment and disillusionment. Memory strained against her composure, ready to burst forth, and she centered herself, finding power in her voice. "I request the opportunity to speak, Your Honor." The judge nodded, yielding the floor. Amanda inhaled, drawing from the deep reservoir of resilience she had developed throughout her life. "I recognize my past is fraught with mistakes, but those mistakes do not define who I am today." Her voice wavered but grew firm. "They do not dictate my ability to take care of my son." The silence that followed was heavy. Judges were accustomed to emotion, but emotional manipulation was a different twist altogether. Was her mother hoping to upturn all she'd built with a dust-strewn memory? "My failures might have scrawled a short chapter in my life, but they don't negate the woman I've become. I am a dedicated nurse, a loving mother, someone who works tirelessly for Evan." With each additional passing moment, her past felt less like a prison and more like a stepping stone toward her independence. The fear that her mother's evidence might unravel her newfound life fueled her into forthrightness. "Those experiences shaped me, but they taught me the importance of nurturing and understanding, skills I've embodied as I raise my son." As she spoke, the judge appeared noticeably attentive. This was her moment to transform a potential assault into a testimony of her growth, to illustrate how a rocky past could yield fertile soil for strength. Amanda scanned the room, in search of familiar faces among the onlookers. Could they see her, the woman she had become, standing right before them? Proof of her dedication and love, devoid of the labels that once marred her identity? Her mother's face twisted with irritation as Amanda's voice climbed. "This isn't just about my past, nor merely about what I once was. It's about the present and the future. Evan deserves a mother who is whole, who stands firm through the chaos of life and rises up for him." The judge's brow furrowed as he leaned back in his chair, considering the implications. What kind of proof could hold weight against Amanda's convictions? A photograph? A statement? Her mother was cunning enough to scheme something, but where had the honor of the courtroom slipped to? Amanda's confidence grew as she pulled strength from her memories of Evan, the glee in his laughter, his craving arms seeking hers for comfort. "Let me be clear," Amanda pressed on. "I will not allow my mother's narrative to dictate my worth. I stand here committed to Evan entirely, rooted in my purpose as a mother, not shackled by past mistakes." Just then, the courtroom doors swung open with a heavy thud, freezing Amanda in place. A figure emerged whose presence could tilt the already precarious balance. Her estranged brother Tom, the one piece of family she had hoped to never see again. What was he doing here? Did he bring his own set of revelations? The tension in the room shifted, poised on a knife's edge as Amanda locked eyes with him, uncertainty burning hotter than before. As Tom stepped forward, an unsettling premonition coursed through her veins. Could this unexpected confrontation ultimately determine her fate? Amanda's heart raced as Tom advanced, each step echoing like a drum roll in her chest. His expression was unreadable. A mix of pity and resentment flickered in his eyes. Could he truly be here of his own volition? Had their parents orchestrated this, or was he finally acting on his own? "Why are you here, Tom?" she demanded, her voice more clipped than she intended. It was both a question and a plea. After years of silence, their fractured relationship was on the brink of either mend or collapse. A decision made in a courtroom could not be as simple as mere family ties. "I couldn't let her take you down without me standing up," he replied, his voice gravelly, but a hint of determination softened his words. "I know what she's trying to do. I know the truth." The room buzzed around them, but Amanda only had ears for her brother's voice. It felt surreal to hear him after all these years, each syllable both familiar and strange. A complicated knot of emotions twisted in her abdomen, relief mixed with the dread of rehashing old wounds. She needed to focus on herself, on Evan, yet Tom's presence revived echoes of their shared past. "Your Honor," he suddenly addressed the judge without preamble, "I have a statement regarding the incidents my mother references. This isn't just about Amanda's history. It's about our family's complete history and the truth behind it all." Amanda's eyes widened. She mentally scrambled through memories, gauging the potential toll this statement could unfold. She shuddered as images surfaced, shouting matches, secrets they'd vowed to keep buried. But what could Tom reveal? In the blink of an eye, doubt clawed at her confidence. Wasn't she the one seeking to redefine her narrative? The judge nodded for Tom to continue, clearly intrigued. Amanda felt the need to regain control of the situation. "No, he doesn't," she began, but Tom cut her off. "Let me speak," he said firmly, his voice steady. "Amanda, it's time the truth came out. You deserve to be free of their hold. You deserve the chance to be the mom Evan needs you to be." The room shifted, faces turning expectantly toward Tom, as if brewing for a revelation. Rage and fear sparked inside her. What if he spilled everything? The arguments, the lies, the family secrets. What if he mentioned the very things she worked so relentlessly to overcome? But amidst the turmoil, a realization ignited within her. His words, although frightening, held the key to unlocking both her past and future. It was not merely about surviving her mother's accusations, but about dismantling the entire narrative that sought to confine her within outdated parameters of familial loyalty. Tom straightened, his fists clenched. "Our parents are toxic. They use the two of us like pawns in their game. They never hesitated to pit us against each other." He glanced at Amanda, a softness in his expression. "But we can take back our stories. Your mistakes do not define your worth, Amanda. They carved out the strength in you that you now possess." The words struck a wound she hadn't realized still throbbed deeply. She didn't have a response ready, yet the urge to retaliate against the misconceptions her brother brought forth battled with the realization that perhaps his presence was exactly what she needed. Did she have the courage to stand not just against her mother, but against the shadows of their shared history? "Your Honor," she said, interrupting Tom, her tone more resolute, "I request that we allow Tom to speak. The truth is worth hearing, for both of us." As the judge signaled both siblings to continue, Amanda felt a shift brewing within her. The chains that had once bound her were beginning to crack, each word freeing her inch by inch. Yet amidst this burgeoning hope, an unsettling thought haunted her. What truth did Tom truly hold? Where would their revelations lead? And could they really carve their future anew, together? The courtroom felt electric as she awaited Tom's next words. The path before them, fraught with uncertainty, but brimming with possibility. Would his revelations herald her salvation or unleash a storm of chaos? With her heart in her throat, Amanda braced for the turbulence ahead, knowing one wrong turn could undo everything. The moment had arrived, both siblings poised at the brink of exposure. What would their revelation unlock or destroy? Amanda's pulse quickened as she noticed every lingering gaze in the crowded courtroom, all waiting for Tom's next move. The air, heavy with anticipation, wrapped around her like a thick fog, obscuring the path she needed to forge. She could feel the weight of decision pressing down on her, mingling with the residual chaos of her family's hidden narratives. Growing up, we were taught to distrust each other, Tom resumed, voice unwavering. Every argument we got dragged into, every insult, it was all part of a larger manipulation. You had to fight for every shred of validation, while I became their shield, and that's all we ever knew. His words sparked the embers of her old insecurities, but also ignited a flame of defiance. Would reiterating their past paint her as the victim or the aggressor? Each secret embedded within those familial ties threatened to rear its head, stinging her heart with memories of betrayal. She longed to remain calm, to nurture her newfound resilience, but the specter of fear was relentless. "Tom," she interrupted, desperation coating her tone. "Are we really sure this is what we want? Do we want to revisit all this?" She shifted slightly, glancing at the judge whose eyes held a mixture of curiosity and caution. "It's not about what we want, it's about what we need," he shot back, unyielding. "This isn't just about us, it's about breaking a cycle that has bound both of our lives. We owe it to ourselves and to Evan." The mention of her son snapped her attention back to the here and now. Evan's safety, his happiness, surged to the forefront of her mind like a lifeline thrown in troubled waters. A sense of urgency brewed within her, forcing her to confront not just Tom's intentions, but the paradigm she had accepted for too long. "Your Honor," she stated, finding her voice more assured with each word, "I stand here not just to face what was done to me, but to reclaim who I am. I want to protect my son, and if unveiling this truth helps pave the way for that liberation, then let's proceed fully." The judge nodded, recognizing the shift in tone. The courtroom was poised on the edge of a cliff where one wrong word could send them plummeting. But Amanda could no longer care. She felt the spark of courage igniting within her, illuminating paths previously shrouded in darkness. Tom inhaled deeply, his expression transforming from anger to something resembling hope. "We both know our mother won't take this lightly," he warned, his brow furrowed. "I'm ready to face whatever comes." The declaration burst from her lips, powerful and grounded. "I won't allow anyone to dictate my worth or define my relationship with Evan. I'm reclaiming my narrative." The courtroom thrummed with a palpable tension as Amanda and Tom locked eyes, a fleeting connection grounded in years of shared trauma and unarticulated strength. It felt almost surreal, this moment of unity against their formidable past, but the essence of uncertainty lingered still. Forgiveness, however, was a bridge they'd have to cross together, and Amanda wasn't sure if they were both willing to tread those waters. "Your Honor," Tom began again, his voice steadier, "it's time for everyone to know the truth about our family dynamics, the failures, the toxicity, and our ultimate survival." Amanda braced herself, knowing this was the precipice of revelation. Would revealing those buried truths bring forth healing or devastation? As she observed the judge's expression transform with an impending realization, another thought surged forward. Was Tom truly in her corner, or merely joining the fray for his own reasons? She needed clarity, not just for her sake, but for Evan. As a mother, her decisions couldn't falter. Just then, the judge cleared his throat, signaling attention. "Mr. and Mrs. Carter, this testimony is not just about your childhood. If we go deeper, you must both be prepared for the consequences. Do you understand what is at stake?" The gravity of those words settled heavy in the charged atmosphere, thickened by a burgeoning realization. Amanda's heart thundered as the enormity of their decision to stand against their family struck her. What consequences loomed just beyond this revelation? Amanda inhaled sharply, The moment had not only arrived, it was harrowing, exhilarating, and utterly transformative. She had already stepped off the edge, and now there was no turning back. But what awaited her at the bottom of this leap? Before she could dwell on it further, Tom's determined gaze ignited a fire within her, one that refused to relent. The audience hushed as they awaited the unraveling of truths that could redefine everything she fought for. Would the revelations shatter her once and for all, or would they grant Amanda the freedom to redefine herself and live authentically for Evan? Amanda's heart raced as she steadied herself, the weight of possibility crashing against her like a wave. The courtroom, with its stark walls and unforgiving silence, felt suffocating. Today, she was not merely a bystander. She was an unyielding force, ready to dismantle the chaos of her past for the sake of Evan, her beacon of hope. As the judge waited for Tom to continue, the room buzzed with anticipation. She could sense the energy shifting, a tangible current of change, and it sent shivers down her spine. Every face in that courtroom was a reminder of a life she was desperate to escape, a life dictated by shadows and whispers, where truth had been twisted just like their family ties. Tom opened his mouth to speak, but Amanda interjected. "No, let me define this," she asserted, surprising even herself. This wasn't just about their familial dysfunction. It was a reckoning, an assertion of her autonomy. "Today, I refuse to be painted as the victim. Today, we lay bare the manipulation that has held us captive." The murmurs in the room grew louder. Amanda's voice cut through the noise like a blade. Her need for honesty, not just for herself, but for Evan, was insistent. The thought of Evan inheriting their family's legacy of distrust and betrayal filled her with fierce determination. She was no longer a footnote in Tom's narrative. She would take ownership of her own story, no matter the cost. Gathering her resolve, she faced the judge. "What my brother and I experienced as children was not normal. We were pitted against each other, taught to spy, to shame, to hate. And in that chaos, I lost sight of my worth." The chilling truth gripped her, and she pressed on. "But Evan is my chance to break this cycle." The judge seemed contemplative, nodding slowly as he processed her words. The courtroom held its breath, and for a moment, Amanda felt powerful. This shift, however small, was the opening she needed to dismantle her family's intricate web of lies. After a brief pause, Tom cleared his throat, his expression wavering between defiance and reluctant understanding. "Amanda's right. We weren't allowed to love one another," he admitted, the cracks in his facade becoming evident. "But reliving this means peeling back wounds that may never heal. Are we truly ready for that?" "Maybe that's the real question," Amanda shot back, her tone sharp but contemplative. She could feel the audience's eyes boring into her, sensing her inner struggle with the resurrection of long-buried emotions. Trust and fear wrestled for dominion over her actions. "We have to confront this. We owe it to Evan to unearth our truth." Amanda's heart was pounding now. The battle within her was palpable. What was at stake if she revealed everything? Would unveiling the past weaken her? Or could it actually be the source of her empowerment? The very act of standing in this courtroom had already shifted her perspective. And as she watched Tom, she wondered if he faced the same dilemma. In that moment, shared with so many unspoken words, Amanda caught a glimpse of his struggle. For years, they had been adversaries. Now, maybe they could be allies. "If you're in this with me, Tom, we have to be honest. Only honesty brings us closer to freedom." Tom nodded, albeit hesitantly. "Then let's face the truth together for Evan," he stated, drawing a tenuous line of connection between them. The judge leaned forward, a spark of interest igniting in his eyes. "Very well, Mr. and Mrs. Carter. Let us begin this journey toward honesty and understanding. The court will now hear the details of your past." As the words lingered in the space between them, Amanda felt a shudder of realization. This was the point of no return. But beneath the uncertainty lay an undeniable sense of liberation. And in that moment before they began relinquishing their secrets, Amanda realized that with every word, she was reconstructing her identity bit by bit. It was time to unravel the very fabric of their family's darkness. Yet, as nervous anticipation settled back into the silence, Amanda couldn't shake the feeling that true battle lay ahead. Was she prepared for the onslaught of truths that would emerge? With newfound strength surging through her, Amanda took a breath, ready to unmask the ghosts of their past. What awaited her, however, was yet to be determined. Would the secrets redefine her, or would they bind her further? And as the first truth began to spill forth, Amanda wondered, was she truly prepared for the weight of her decisions? Amanda felt the air in the courtroom shift as Tom began to speak again. Each word he uttered became an anchor for her resolve, yet also a weight that threatened to drag her under. As the first story unfolded, a recollection of their childhood birthday parties marked by a chilling sense of competition rather than celebration, she experienced a jolt of recognition. This was the fabric of their shared existence, the root of their dysfunction, and it was time to expose it. The judge leaned in, captivated, as Tom recounted how their parents had pitted them against each other, how love had been a commodity earned through achievements rather than given freely. Amanda felt the strain in Tom's voice. His vulnerability coursed through their shared trauma. For the first time, he was not an adversary. He was a fellow survivor, peeling back layers of a warped family narrative. With renewed motivation, Amanda seized the moment. "This is the truth, the pattern," she interjected. "Each twist and turn in our lives was orchestrated to turn us against each other. We grew up as competitors, not as siblings." Her heart raced as she observed the judge's focused attention and the shifting expressions in the audience. She was no longer timid. She was clear, direct, and purposeful. "And yet," she continued, emboldened, "both of us have tried our entire adult lives to break free from those chains. But it has come at a cost, not just to us, but to Evan. He is the one who should never experience this." As Amanda voiced her fears, she felt a rush of clarity. This was why they were here, to confront their shared truth, to protect the next generation. Tom nodded slowly, his expression shifting into something more contemplative. "I can't bear the thought of him going through what we did. I thought by burying my feelings, I could avoid the pain, but all I've done is perpetuate the cycle." Her brother's admission reverberated within her, serving as a catalyst. The tension in the room was electric, and Amanda could sense they were on the precipice of a breakthrough, both personally and collectively. Yet a shadow of doubt slinked into her mind. Were they truly ready for this deep dive into emotion? Could they withstand the tidal wave of past grievances? "We must find a way to heal, not just for Evan, but also for ourselves," she urged, her voice steady despite the storm raging inside her. "It means facing our deepest fears together. I can't promise it will be easy, but we owe it to him to confront it head-on." In her observation, she noted the flicker of uncertainty in the onlookers' eyes. They were not just witnesses to the unraveling of a family. They were seeing a transformation in the siblings, a potential for reconciliation. The path was littered with risks, but each moment felt like a soft nudge toward freedom. The judge's expression softened, clearly moved by the unfolding drama. "Let me remind you both, this is not just a courtroom, it's a space for healing. Honesty, while painful, is also liberating." Amanda swallowed hard. This was what she needed to affirm. As the looming clouds of their family's past wafted into the light of scrutiny, she confronted her own fears. What if their reconciliation was a facade, merely a momentary thrill before the inevitable chaos returned? Yet something in her stirred, a sense of profound determination. She could still reclaim her narrative, redefine her legacy, and pave a new path for Evan. As more truths emerged, Amanda prepared herself for the emotional barrage ahead, each revelation a potential bombshell capable of shifting their destinies. "We can do this together," she urged Tom, her voice firm yet tender, infusing their confrontation with a hint of hope. And as the courtroom echoed back their collective truths, a cacophony of pain, betrayal, and ultimately the desire to reshape their destiny, Amanda took one deep breath, aware that this was not merely a chapter of her life playing out, it was her rebirth. But as she stood at the edge of her past, the memories churned with an unsettling restlessness, and a chilling question lingered in her mind. What lies ahead when the past finally confronts them, a force that is neither forgiving nor forgotten? Amanda felt a sudden weight compressing around her chest as the judge's gavel echoed, marking a temporary dogmatic silence in the courtroom. The pregnant pause stretched into an eternity, filled with the unsaid and the unresolved. Tom's gaze met hers, both questioning whether they had just crossed an unforgiving threshold. Will we really face this together, she thought? The uncertainty gnawed at her, a persistent reminder of their frayed familial ties. Their past haunted her like a specter, waiting to manifest in the most unpredictable ways. She hesitated, her resolve flickering momentarily, but the trembling notion of her son, Evan, anchored her. He was their bridge, a new chapter that warranted protection. The ambient noise around her faded into a faceless blur. She took a deep breath, centering herself amidst the chaos and channeling the inner strength that had propelled her throughout this ordeal. "This is my moment," she resolved. She would not allow her family history to dictate her future or Evan's. The courtroom resumed its rhythm, and gradually the words of the judge cut through the air, wrapping around her like a protective cocoon. Truth has the power to heal, but it can also expose what's been hidden. His words resonated deeply, sparking a fire of introspection. Amanda felt emboldened, electrified by a sense of communal discovery. As she turned toward Tom, poised with the courage gleaned from her newfound clarity, she urged, "We need constructive dialogue. It's time to rip off the Band-Aid." The quiet confidence in her voice stemmed from a deep-seated desire to articulate her thoughts without fear. Their shared history was littered with misunderstandings, and Amanda was determined to reshape their narrative. "There's more to our stories than just rivalry. We both have lived in reaction to our parents' expectations." She emphasized the last few words, seeking resonance. Amanda appreciated the fragmented memories of resilience that connected them. The very thought that she might invite Tom into a collaborative healing space invigorated her spirit. Even as Tom processed her words, Amanda witnessed a moment of vulnerability cross his features. "You're right," he finally admitted, his tone softened. "I've always thought I could manage my pain alone, but it only deepens the scars." For the first time, she noticed a deeper pain beneath his bravado, and it pierced through her initial exasperation. They both had entangled themselves in their burdens, locked in a cycle that neither could escape without the other's help. But then another shadow flickered in the corner of her mind. What if we dig deeper, only to unearth resentments and secrets that could be damaging to both of us? The doubts were suffocating, yet Amanda grasped for the breath of hope. Transitioning from a place of anger to one of understanding required negotiation, but also risk. She put her hand on the table, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if we created a new story today, one that Evan could grow up with, one where he never has to choose sides?" Her chest tightened, almost choking on the last words, but she knew they were true. Their responsibility was greater than their conflicts. The judge's eyes flickered between the siblings, a soft nod of encouragement etched across his face. "Very well," he gently prompted, shifting the proceedings back into a therapeutic atmosphere as he gestured for them to elaborate further. It was a call to vulnerability, and Amanda steeled herself, taking a chance on Tom and, by extension, on herself. "Let's dissect the layers, shall we?" she urged, scanning the audience and inviting them into this important conversation, working toward a broader understanding of their shared issues. And as Amanda continued to open up the dialogue, revealing glimpses of her own turbulent feelings, she suddenly felt a jolt of realization wash over her. Perhaps what lay hidden was not just the trauma of the past, but also the fledgling resilience they had both nurtured over the years. Yet the question lingered, coiling itself around her heart. Were they truly prepared to face the ghost of their upbringing together, or would their attempt at healing bring more pain than anticipated? Tomorrow, they would have to confront not only the family that had made them, but the choices that would redefine them. What awaited them in this newfound territory? Demonstrates a maturity that shall not go unnoticed, he said. In that moment, Amanda found herself growing, fueled by recognition. Her stride toward redefining herself was resonating beyond her immediate boundaries. Your Honor, Tom said, his voice resolute, I propose we create a plan for our future, one that honors our children with transparency and love rather than deceit. The judge nodded slightly, impressed by the progress. That's a commendable goal, he replied. Imagine if these two could build a family dynamic beneficial for everyone involved. Little by little, Amanda and Tom were unearthing the layers, revealing intentions masked behind childhood misunderstandings. They were slowly crafting a new narrative, healing the echoes of their past as they built a stable future. A profound sense of solidarity swept through Amanda as Tom included her in his vision, a family who could thrive, not rot in bitter memories. Let us establish monthly family meetings where we express our needs honestly and openly. With transparency, we can be a family Evan deserves, he proposed. The room hummed with potential as the siblings hardened their resolve like the forging of steel. Yes, Amanda replied, her voice ringing with clarity. It begins with me and us redefining what it means to be a family, nurturing love, respect, and understanding above all. It was a powerful leap of faith. Amanda had transformed her anguish into a newfound strength, into actionable resolutions that promised a future unshackled from the burdens of despair. As the session concluded, faces in the courtroom took on a new light, filled with empathy instead of scrutiny. Amanda's heart soared as she caught glimpses of hope reflected in the eyes surrounding her. She had faced her past and emerged with a plan, skillfully poised to provide Evan with a life filled with belonging rather than the shadows of rejection. I trust we can do this together, Tom said, extending his hand. Amanda grasped it firmly, understanding that while their shared history had shaped them, it also served as an impetus to forge a legacy distinctly theirs. The ties that had once bound her were now threads woven into a stronger fabric, one that embraced growth, dialogue, and unconditional love. In that moment, Amanda realized they had succeeded. They were citizens of their own narrative now, freed from the constraints of their parents' misaligned expectations. They walked into the future, hopeful, resilient, ready to conquer the unknown for Evan and for themselves. The weight of that ancestral turmoil had transformed into a sturdy foundation for renewal. As they made their way out of the courtroom, Amanda felt an overwhelming satisfaction. She had reclaimed her identity and secured her son's future, demonstrating that the love a mother offers is not reliant on privilege, but built from perseverance, authenticity, and unwavering commitment. This was victory, not only for her, but for the family she had redefined, and ultimately for the love that would nurture her son as he grew. Projecting her vision forward, Amanda found solace. Family could be chosen and molded, and today marked the first step in reshaping the legacy she wanted to pass to Evan. Through this journey, she had proven to herself and the world that she could rise stronger than before. As she stepped forward, she felt immense pride swell in her chest. In this court of her life, she had accomplished not just survival, but rebirth, a glorious reawakening into hope, healing, and love. Now, she was ready to embrace life with unshakable confidence, a mother who would protect and cherish her son above all else. She had conquered the darkness of her past and illuminated a path forward, affirming who she truly was. Amanda, resilient, independent, and primed for a future filled with potential. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true fans of personal overcoming stories understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.